If you want to scale your rental portfolio, property management is the one skill you cannot afford to ignore. Property management is what separates stressed-out landlords from truly passive real estate investors. Most people think real estate success comes from buying great deals, but what actually determines whether you keep and grow that wealth is how well those properties are managed over time. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how property management works, the biggest mistakes investors make, and how to build a system that creates consistent cash flow, fewer problems, and real scalability. And make sure you stick around, because toward the end I'll show you how small improvements in property management can dramatically increase your long-term returns. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about why property management matters more than most investors realize. When new investors get started, they focus almost entirely on acquisition, finding deals, running numbers, getting financing. But here's the reality. Your profit isn't made when you buy. It's realized over time through how well you operate the property. A poorly managed property doesn't usually fail overnight. It declines slowly. A missed rent payment here, a slightly longer vacancy there, an overpriced repair that could have been avoided. These small inefficiencies compound, and over months or years, they can completely erode your returns. On the other hand, strong property management creates stability and predictability. Your tenants stay longer, your expenses are controlled, your income becomes more reliable. That's what turns real estate into a true wealth-building system. Now let's break this into the two main approaches: self-managing and hiring a property manager. Starting with self-management. This is where a lot of investors begin, and it's actually a great learning phase, because when you self-manage, you see everything firsthand. You learn how to screen tenants properly. You understand real maintenance costs. You deal with lease agreements and enforcement. That experience gives you a huge advantage later. You're also saving money on management fees, which helps early cash flow. But here's the part that catches most investors off guard. Self-management scales poorly. It works fine when you have one or two properties. But as you grow, complexity increases faster than you expect. Because now you're managing multiple tenants, multiple leases, multiple maintenance issues all at once. Let's make this real. Imagine you own 4 rental properties. One tenant is late on rent. One unit just became vacant. One property needs a repair. And another lease is about to expire. That's 4 different problems, all requiring attention at the same time. And if you're not organized or if you're busy with other responsibilities, things start slipping. That's when small issues turn into expensive problems. Now let's talk about hiring a property manager. This is where you start building real leverage. A professional property manager takes over the day-to-day responsibilities so you can focus on higher-level decisions. They handle tenant placement, rent collection, maintenance coordination, lease enforcement, legal compliance, and evictions. But more importantly, they bring structure and consistency. This is what strong property management really provides: a system that runs whether you're involved or not. And that's what allows you to scale, because now your portfolio is not dependent on your time. However, here's the key point. Hiring a property manager is not about stepping away completely. It's about upgrading your role. You move from doing the work to overseeing the system. But before you get there, you need to choose the right property manager, and this is where many investors make costly mistakes. So let's go deeper into how to evaluate a property manager the right way. First, tenant screening standards. This is the foundation of everything. A property manager who places the wrong tenant creates a chain reaction: late payments, damage, eviction risk, turnover. A strong property manager has clear, strict criteria and follows it every time. For example, minimum income requirements, verified employment, rental history checks, credit benchmarks, background screening. And here's something important. Consistency matters more than flexibility. If they bend the rules to fill vacancies faster, you'll pay for it later. Second, vacancy management. Vacancy is one of the biggest hidden costs in real estate. Every day a unit sits empty, you're losing money. So ask detailed questions. How do they price units? How do they market listings? What's their average days on market? A strong property manager treats vacancy like a problem to solve quickly and efficiently. Third, maintenance decision-making. This is where a lot of investors lose money without realizing it, because not all maintenance is handled the same way. A strong property manager will prioritize cost-effective solutions, use reliable vendors, avoid unnecessary replacements, focus on long-term asset preservation. For example, repairing a component instead of replacing an entire system when appropriate. These decisions add up over time. Fourth, communication and reporting. You should never feel disconnected from your investment. A professional property manager will provide monthly financial statements, clear expense tracking, updates on vacancies and repairs, easy access to documentation. If communication is inconsistent, that's a warning sign. Now let's pause for a second and look at this from a bigger picture perspective, because this is where experienced investors think differently. They don't just ask, how much does a property manager cost? They ask, what does this system allow me to build? Because property management is not just a service, it's infrastructure. It's what supports your ability to grow from a few properties to a real portfolio. Let's go back to the numbers. If you're paying $200 per month on a $2,000 rental, that's easy to focus on. But what's harder to see is what you gain. Reduced vacancy, better tenant quality, more consistent income, lower long-term maintenance costs, and most importantly, time to focus on growth. Now, let's go deeper into systems, because this is where everything comes together. Every successful real estate operation runs on systems, not guesswork, not memory, not reacting. Systems. From tenant onboarding to lease renewals to maintenance workflows. For example, think about tenant communication. If there's no system, every interaction becomes manual and inconsistent. But with a system, clear channels, defined response times, documented processes, everything becomes smoother. Another example is lease renewals. A system ensures you're reaching out early, evaluating rent adjustments, and reducing unnecessary turnover. This is how professional property management operates behind the scenes. Now, let's talk about scaling from a strategic level, because this is where your long-term vision matters. If your goal is to build real wealth through real estate, you need more than properties, you need operations that can handle growth. Because without systems, growth creates chaos. But with strong property management, growth becomes manageable. You can acquire more properties without increasing your workload at the same rate. That's leverage. And that's how investors scale efficiently. But again, this only works if you maintain oversight. Even with a property manager in place, you should be reviewing performance regularly. Look at key metrics, occupancy rates, rent collection consistency, maintenance costs, turnover frequency, and compare performance over time, because what gets measured gets improved. Let's walk through one final scenario to tie this together. Two investors start with similar properties. One treats property management casually, no real systems, reactive decisions. The other builds a structured property management approach from day one. 3 to 5 years later, the difference is clear. The second investor has stronger cash flow, fewer operational issues, better tenant retention, more time to acquire additional properties. That's how small operational decisions turn into major financial differences. Now let's wrap this up with actionable steps you can take immediately. Define your management strategy before buying your next property. Create or adopt systems for every part of the process. Track your numbers monthly and review performance. Focus on its preventative maintenance instead of reactive fixes. And treat your portfolio like a business, not a side project. Because that mindset shift is what separates casual landlords from serious investors. At the end of the day, property management is one of the most important components of your real estate success. It's not the most exciting topic, but it's one of the most powerful. Get it right, and your portfolio becomes stable, scalable, and predictable. Get it wrong, and you'll constantly be dealing with stress, inefficiencies, and lost profits. So take the time to build a strong property management system, or partner with a property manager who already has one in place. That's how you create long-term leverage in real estate. If you found this helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more content on real estate investing, DSCR loans, and scaling your portfolio the smart way. And check out the description for additional resources that can help you grow faster. I'll see you in the next video.